How you doing? I'm bassist Chris Davison of the Inversion Circus. I've been playing about 23 years now. I started when I was 10 years old. I actually got my first bass when I was 10 for Christmas. A good friend of the family went in with my parents. My parents bought my first bass amp. It was a Fender BXR 100, and he bought me a Fender P bass as my first bass, and he introduced me to what became a friend of the family, a guy by the name of Huey Thomason, who was the guitarist for the Outlaws and Leonard Skinner. He actually contributed by having the P-bass that Rick got me custom airbrushed with a desert mural across the pickguard. It was actually pretty cool. I still have it too, and it's the one thing I'll never ever get rid of. Yeah, so that was the start of it for me. You know, a friend of mine, he was a guitar player, and figured, well, what good's two guitar players? Might as well be a bass player. And the rest just kind of is history. As far as influences, oh boy. First and foremost, biggest one's got to be Victor Wooten. First time I ever heard that guy, I was maybe 11, 12 years old. We were at a friend's house. His band was actually having a rehearsal. And after their rehearsal was over, he put on a record that was pretty cool. I'd never heard anything like it, and it actually turned out to be What Did He Say by Victor Wooten, which was his first solo album, I believe. And yeah, after that, it was just kind of an eye-opener for me. I started listening to him and discovered guys like Marcus Miller, Stanley Clark. Obviously, the three of them worked closely together on a lot of things. Then started diving into the techniques that they pioneered, and listening to guys like James Jamerson, and a lot of different jazz stuff, and a lot of, admittedly, a lot of metal over the years. Everything from Pantera, Slayer, Slipknot, you know, all the standards, so to speak. It was pretty widespread, and I grew up listening to Southern rock and bands like the Outlaws and Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, Molly Hatchet. They're all near and dear to my heart. But yeah, there's just always something about the jazz cats that guys that did things a little off the wall, a little out of the norm, that always intrigued me. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to see if I could master anything that they had created, and somewhere along the way, I think you develop your own twist on things, because there's a lot of things those guys do that, admittedly, I just plain can't. I mean, I've never been an over the top solo bassist. Always been more in the pocket rhythm section kind of guy. But I mean, I've worked on the techniques. I can do the stuff. It's just never been my thing to be out front. Bass has always been a supportive instrument to me. My guitar player, Chris Maycock, the guy's off the charts. So to me, guitar is a lead instrument. So anything you can do on bass to back that and balance what he's doing makes all the difference. That's what makes a well-rounded out song, well-rounded out music to me. If you're just out there to be out front, you're about yourself. You're not about the band. And not saying that those guys that are amazing soloists are out there for themselves. Obviously, they're far beyond anything like that. They're amazing rhythm section guys. They're schooled like you wouldn't believe and can do anything they want. Really, it's just never been my thing to be out front so much. Little tidbits here and there. It's fun. I like to interject fun little sections that stand out, which you can kind of hear in our stuff. But as far as actual bass solos, it's not really my thing. What got me into six-string bass? Truth be told, I think it was honestly Steve Bailey. He and Victor Wooten put out a couple albums called Bass Extremes, and he was really the first one I heard doing much with six-string. Granted, it was six-string fretless, but still, it was six-string. That was the first that I had really listened and paid attention, noticing the six-string advantages, and started listening to stuff from some of the work of Anthony Jackson, who obviously is the creator of six-string bass, and just kind of decided that I wanted to try it. A lot of guys aren't going to like what I have to say here, but five-string was never an option to me. Too many guys that I have been around that are five-stringers, they just rock away on that low B, and they really, they're playing five, but they only need one. It just kind of gave me a bad taste in my mouth about five, and it was, there's so many amazing players on five-string, but it just kind of turned me away from it and pointed me towards six right out of the gate. And my first six-string was actually an Ibanez 206, which was it's a little shorter scale. It's I believe it's 33-inch, and it's real thin neck. It was a good transition from four to six. It definitely was more playable right out of the gate until my hands got used to the string crossings and different techniques that come, and muting techniques especially, that come with six-string. Because a lot of people think that the hardest thing about six-string is playing it. Honestly, I think the hardest thing is keeping it quiet as you're doing things. All the additional strings, between the movement of your hands and the natural vibrations in the instrument, strings just want to resonate. And the art of six-string is actually keeping everything quiet more so than actually playing it, at least in my opinion. But yeah, since then I've gotten into longer scale. I play 35-inch now. My current go-to bass is a Ken Smith design Burner 6-string deluxe. Beautiful bass. Absolutely love the thing. I have a series of other ones. One I actually built myself. That I made that a variable scale. It goes from 35-inch to 34 active EMGs. It's pretty cool. That was my go-to for a long time, but there was just something about this Ken Smith that just fits me just right. So I've been very, very pleased with that instrument. So yeah, six-string is just kind of one of those things that, just like everything else, you hear something new, you decide you want to look into it, and next thing you know, that's what you're doing.